Well, it's a community of travellers out here, people, so let's all band together and keep each other safe and keep away from the weirdos and the murderers. Yay! Hi guys! Okay, so we have reached the point in our island trip where Sarah and I decided to try out couchsurfing. Now this is the budget trick that loads of people have used before to varying degrees of success. We had actually intended only to couchsurf for like 2 or 3 days. We actually ended up staying over a week at these poor guys' house. We like took over an entire room, but we'll get to that. Couchsurfing is an ingenious system that puts in contact budget-friendly travellers with potential hosts who are willing to let you stay in their spare rooms, on their couch, or even on their floors. And normally it's just for a place to sleep whilst you go off and explore the surrounding town. But sometimes, you know, you can strike up a really good friendship with these people and you get a brilliant local's view of the place that you're actually staying in. Once again, it's a system completely based on trust where no money changes hands. So naturally, there's always going to be a little bit of a question mark over the safety of it because you're literally putting your well-being in the hands of a potential stranger. On the one hand, thousands upon thousands of people have used this system effectively and have had wonderful experiences, stayed like a local and saved a whole lot of money in the meantime. And then on the other hand, you do hear about some really scary horror stories. If you just Google couchsurfing, straight away, the top videos are normally the scary ones. And I think obviously you need to be informed, you need to be safe, but you also need to hear about the great sides of it, and you don't want to be so scared out of ever using this system because it really is a brilliant system and you can save money and make lifelong friends in the meantime. But I'm a big fan of safety as well as saving money, so with that in mind, here's the top 10 tips that I've found can help you keep safe whilst couchsurfing and hopefully not end up getting axe murdered. Now, a lot of these tips might just seem like having a bit of common sense, which, you know, obviously always helps if you're traveling, but it's also, you know, you kind of do feel a little bit indebted to people when you're staying in their home and you're not paying them, and you do kind of go along with things. You're always a little bit looser whilst you're on holiday anyway, so yeah, these are just some things that I've compiled which I think can help people, but do let me know if you think I've missed any, and leave a comment telling me your experiences as well with couchsurfing, good or bad. I'd love to hear them. Number 1, read the website guidelines. When you first sign up to this free website, or the app, there's an app as well, then you are provided the opportunity to create your profile. You can add a bio, you can add photos of yourself, you know, what kind of things you'd be looking for, where you'd want to go, all that kind of stuff. But then also there's a big section of the website that's how to be safe, the guidelines, rules of conduct, all that sort of thing. That's there for a bloody good reason. Please read it. Please take the time to read it. It's full of helpful information. I'm just going to be touching on a few things, but they literally wrote the website. They wrote the book on it, so go read that, please. Number 2, choose someone with positive reviews. Just like woofing that I did before, you can actually leave reviews on hosts that you've stayed with, and they can leave reviews on your profile as well. So it makes very good sense to actually read through these. If they've got a whole bunch of really great comments and it's from like a number of different people from different countries, there's photos, all that sort of thing, then, you know, they're going to be a safer bet. If it's going to be someone with hardly any reviews or a couple of reviews that are like super negative, or if they've got like a massive long list of really negative comments, obviously avoid this person. Just a bit of common sense. And yeah, you can say, yo, if it's just a couple of bad reviews, then maybe the person just didn't gel, they didn't get on with them. True, but you know, it's your safety, so I think it depends on the comment. If the person said they made me really uncomfortable, he was a creep, she was completely crazy, she was into drugs, you know, whatever, take the time to read the comments, because, you know, your fellow travelers have been there and done that, so take their word for it, basically. Number 3, think about how you're presenting yourself. Your Couchsurfing bio is where you can write about yourself, your profession, about your experience so far traveling, your languages spoken, your likes, your dislikes and hobbies, all that kind of thing, and you can upload some pictures. Now, friendly is great. Super flirty, not so much. And if you accompany a really like sexual suggestive bio with a super busty picture of you licking some guy's abs, then it stands to reason that you're going to attract a certain type of host, and you know, that might be what you're looking for. But when you actually come to meet this person, if you're not feeling it or if you're not into it, then they could be still expecting you to act a certain way, and you're stuck then, because they're assuming that you're going to be well up for it, and suddenly you're not, and you're stuck in this situation with someone you're not attracted to, that you feel uncomfortable with, and it's all because you put yourself out there in kind of a negative light. So just be careful how you're actually putting yourself out there and how you're representing yourself, because, you know, you don't have to be a frickin' nun, but also don't make yourself look like you're ready to go Barbie. And I'm not being sexist here as well, because this goes for the boys as well. Yep, women can be creeps too. Yay! Number 4, don't judge your host purely by pictures either. Just like my last point, your potential host could look like a smoking hot 20-something in pictures, but then if they've got like hardly anything else in their bio, no information, or if they've actually got negative reviews and things, then don't purely go on the fact that, wow, she's hot, or wow, he's hot, because they could be a total creep, they could be like a murderer, you know, who knows. So yeah, basically don't judge a book by its cover. Yes, the book might be beautiful, but inside might be a whole house full of horrors. I have issues. That's not to say completely blacklist these people. Maybe just contact them and ask for some more information. They might be perfectly fine, but they just didn't bother writing a bio or something, which, you know, might be a little bit dodgy. I've tend to find that the people who are serious about hosting couch surfers take the time to write a full bio, to, you know, fill out the information about where it is you'd be expected to stay, all that sort of thing. So, because that ranges massively. You could be in a spare bedroom, you could be on the floor in their bedroom, you could be on a couch, you know, all different situations. So basically check that out as well, and if it's not in their bio, feel free to ask. It's okay to ask, where am I going to sleep in your house? Because you know what, it's your sleep that they're messing with. So number 5, declare any health, food restrictions or allergies in your bio. Everything might be dandy, you and your host are getting on great, you know, you get on like a house on fire, and the location of the place is fantastic, all that sort of stuff, and then you discover he has 4 dogs and you're deathly allergic. It's really important, because they're not mind readers. They're not going to know that you're, you know, you have an allergy or you have asthma or are scared of something, or that they have, you know, they might have a pet snake or something and you're terrified that it's going to get out and eat you in the night. There's all these different things, and same with food as well. So if you have a food allergy, or if you're vegetarian or vegan or something like that, they're not going to know unless you tell them that, just like with the woof hosts as well. So it's a good idea to put that in your bio as well. It's actually not expected that your couch surfer provides anything for you other than a place to sleep, but in my experience a lot of them would actually like to include you in a meal, you know, so you can hang out together, and perhaps you cook for them, they cook for you, so it's like a swapping of cultures, and if you're in a different country. So yeah, and they shouldn't be expected to accommodate like a vegan diet or something if you haven't told them previously that you are. So yeah, just be transparent with them so that they know what to expect just as much as you hope that they're going to be transparent with you. Number 6, Skype, call or meet up with your host before you agree to stay with them. This is so important because emails so much gets lost in, you know, they could sound fantastic in email and then you actually meet up and they're like horrible. Like, I'm not talking about looks here, they could just be really mean or something. Or likewise, you could like get on even better with them in person, but it's a good idea just to double check basically. This should help you keep safe so that you're not suddenly you go back to their house and there's like a whole bunch of people there waiting for you or something. Like, I know my imagination's going crazy, but I always think it's better to be a little bit paranoid than be a victim. So I'd rather be like thinking the worst case scenario and hoping for the best than, you know, be completely unprepared and then find myself in a situation I can't get out of. Sarah and I actually met with our Couchsurfing host Alex in a pub. So it was a public area, it was daytime, and we met with him and chatted with him before we agreed to stay with him. We had emailed back and forth and we were checking everything sounded great, they sounded lovely, yeah, we knew he had some roommates and things, so we hadn't met them, but we were like, yep, he seems great, let's actually meet with him and say, good idea, if you do agree to meet with basically a potential stranger, use it just like you would if you met somebody on online dating. So in a public place, other people know where you are, and ideally bring a friend as well. It could be like an awkward third wheel situation if you are going to end up dating them, but again, better safe than sorry. Also, this will help avoid you getting catfished as well. If you don't know what catfishing is, then you're probably a little bit older watching these vlogs, when you pretend to be someone else online, and you know, anyone can upload a picture and say that that's me. That's a scary reality of the tech world that we live in nowadays. So you want to make sure that the person that you've been emailing is the person that you're going to stay with, because I have heard horror stories, and again, that's something that you'll find on YouTube as well, where somebody has made a fake profile and said that they're somebody, a girl that you're supposed to be staying with, and it turns out, nope, it's a guy who's then going to hit on you relentlessly throughout the night. Scary stuff. Number 7, location, location, location. Be sure exactly where your host's house actually is, because after all, anyone can say I live in London and still not actually live anywhere near any of the London attractions. If you pick a host that, you know, looks like it's got an amazing house, but it's actually super far away from any of the things that you want to see or do, then you're just going to waste your time because you're going to be stuck in that location. Likewise, if it's super hard to get to their place, or if like the neighborhood looks really sketchy or something, basically just find out where they are. You can Google map it, you can, you know, street view it as well to have a look around. Yeah, good indication. If there's a drug deal going on Street View on Google Maps, avoid it, avoid it. It's not worth it. Number 8, and in my opinion one of the most important, tell people where you are. We currently live in a world of iPhones, Wi-Fi, emails, Skype, all of this stuff. Your friends and family shouldn't have to wait for a postcard to know that you're okay. That's what they're there for. Friends and family are there to keep you safe, to make sure that you're okay. Give them the name and the address of the person that you're staying with, and let them know a time that you're going to call them, so that if you don't call them at that particular time and they haven't heard from you, then they can call for help. They know where to send the cops, you know. Again, better safe than sorry, but just make sure that a couple of people know where you are. I had a little bit of different experience with this because obviously I travelled with someone, and I definitely recommend that as well. You know, couch surfing with a friend, with a group of friends, you might be less likely to be picked up by certain people because hosts tend not to have that much room. But if you're flexible, if you're happy to share a bed with them, like Sarah and I did, with your person, not with your host, probably shouldn't do that in your bio. I'm happy to share a bed with you, total stranger. It should be fine to have an extra person as well, especially if you're like-minded as well, if you're not going to be like constantly bickering or something, because nobody wants to be around that. If you're both like fairly happy-go-lucky kind of people, if you're both like really organised or whatever, then yeah, it's a great idea to bring a friend, because they also can help kind of protect you. Safety in numbers, people. We've got there, people. Number 9, crotch surfing. It's certainly true that many people use couch surfing as a means of hooking up. And I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that if it's, you know, safe and consensual, two people who are both attracted to each other acting on that. I think that's fine. The problems arise when you are simply expecting somewhere to stay and you just want to sleep and be safe, and your host is expecting you to have sex. That's when it gets really awkward and potentially dangerous. Everyone, please note that just because you are staying in someone's house for free does not mean that you owe them sex. It's not an expectation that is encouraged. It's not what the site's about. You know, do not feel any pressure, and if they are pressuring you, then, you know, get the hell out of there. We'll get to that in point 10, but I just wanted to talk about this really quickly without dropping anybody in it. If you're by yourself, and there's a lot of this with the whole female solo female traveller, again, you need to be careful as to who you're choosing. If you're really worried about it, choose an all-girl house. You know, if you have a group of girls, you're less likely to come up into a weird sexual situation. Who knows, it might be a house full of, you know, randy lesbians. But a little bit of common sense, like if it's just like a shirtless dude, like that's his profile picture, then chances are he's going to be expecting to be a bit more than friends. I am generalizing here a little bit. Again, they might have rave reviews. They might be like, this guy was amazing, he took me around everywhere, we're such good friends and everything. But, you know, if you're by yourself, and again, I think this goes for males and females, because everyone kind of focuses on women traveling alone must be safe. You know what, men can get attacked too. So yeah, I fully believe that if it seems like it's an uncomfortable sexual situation, or just any uncomfortable, it doesn't have to be a sexual advance. If they're making any kind of advance, or like if they're asking you to try some, you know, drugs or anything that you're not cool with, if they want you to do something, if they want you to go somewhere that you think is going to be unsafe or illegal or anything like that, it's okay that you don't want to do that. You don't owe them that. You know, you're staying in their house for free, sure, but that's kind of the entire point of the site, is that you are helping out fellow travelers, you're coming together, you're bonding cultures and things. Doesn't mean you have to dry hump with them or whatever. We were two females and we were in a house full of dudes, so naturally we're a bit dubious about it. But I think it ended up being like an amazing experience. We had a fantastic experience. This leads me to number 10. Know that it is okay to leave. If you are in a situation that is seriously uncomfortable for you, you can leave. That you are under no obligation. It's not like you're going to seriously put them out by being like, oh, here, have your spare room back, or here, have your couch back. You didn't sign the contract, you aren't, you know, their prisoner, you can leave. But make sure that you have enough money and know of a couple of like backup hostels just in case you suddenly need to leave, so that you have that option. And likewise, they might suddenly require you to leave for whatever reason. They might suddenly be like, you know what, get out, and you don't want to be sleeping on the street that night. So do make sure that you are a little bit prepared, and once again, update the people that you are updating before. If you change location, let them know, okay, I'm no longer at this girl's house or whatever, I'm now in this hostel. Just common safety. Keep people updated where you are, and, you know, get out of there if it's too scary, because you do hear a lot of very scary stories. Now, Sarah and I had an incredible time couch surfing. Like I say, we were supposed to only stay for like 3 days, and Alex and his mates took us out to the pub. They bought rounds of drinks, they took us out dancing, they showed us like the really cool local places to go that we might not have discovered if we weren't with them, and we actually ended up having a whole room to ourselves. Alex gave up his bedroom and he slept in the music room downstairs on a mattress, which was amazing. We had like a double bed and we could close the door and everything, so there was privacy, it was safe and everything. And We were two girls in a house full of guys. Famously, I think Sarah and I both tend to get on with guys better, but I can totally understand how some people would be frightened by that situation. I personally felt safer because I was with a friend. I'd done all the steps that I said before. We checked out, they had hosted people before, they had really good reviews, and also I do a little bit of self-defense, so naturally I'm a little bit more confident in certain situations, because I'm like, do you know what, if it really came down to it, I could probably kick their ass or at least cause enough damage to be like, do you know what, it's not worth like attacking this girl, she's just gonna pull our guts out through our eyeballs. Yeah, so like a little bit of self-defense classes can really help. Even if you never have to use it, it's better to know it and never have to use it. That's Gracie Academy logic for you there. Men or women, again, straight, bi, gay, whatever, you know, all different kinds of situations it can happen, and I think this is a fantastic system that has got a bad rep because of a fair number of like horror stories and some bad apples who, you know, in all fairness to Couchsurfing, they've got a fairly good system in that they blacklist people if they've had complaints, they investigate things, they do remove profiles if they're found to be a fake person, or if they've done like any kind of assaults or anything, and they've got a really good customer service in that you can contact them and ask their advice, and they'll give you safety tips and advice and things. A little bit of common sense, read the guidelines and things, and you can use this system fantastically. That is what it's there for, to help you travel the world cheaply, but at the same time you want to be safe. So here's just a few tips that I thought of could help you. So let's do that bit again. There's just a few tips that I came up with that I thought could help you, but please do read their guidelines and all their codes of conduct and things, and do check out other people's experiences as well. Let me know yours in the comments below. I'd love to hear good or bad ones. And I strongly recommend, if anybody's had a really negative experience with a couch surfer, please do leave a honest comment or honest review on their profile, because otherwise, if you don't, you're setting somebody else up to have the exact same experience as you. It's just like, you know, not reporting a crime, you're then allowing that person to commit another crime. Make sure that, you know, you're looking out for other people. It's a community of travellers out here, people, so let's all band together and keep each other safe and keep away from the weirdos and the murderers. Yay! I hope you found this informative. Do let me know in the comments below, and if you found this helpful, give this video a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more extreme budget travel experiences, vlogs, tips, tricks, everything. I've been the Penniless writer on the Penniless Writer's Guide to the World, Helen. Hi! Thanks so much for liking, commenting and subscribing. See you in the world. Bye!